Good morning, my friends. As you can tell by my attire, it is a little bit rainy this morning, not bad. Rained all night. So this is the second time that it rained all night, and I woke up the next morning. It's supposed to rain till noon today, and it's just barely sprinkling, so the trail gods are looking out for me. So Lost Mountain Shelter last night. Can't remember where I'm going today. Wise Shelter, maybe. Almost 18 miles. And then hopefully the weather cooperates and don't get a ton of rain today. It's supposed to turn off cold in the next 2 or 3 days. Mid-30s last night. Slept real comfortable. I have good gear, but I do not like to camp when it's below 20, 25 degrees probably. So just miserable getting out of your sleeping bag and everything in the morning. I've done it and I'll do it again. But if I'm close to a hostel and a warm bed, odds are Prepper's going to be in a warm bed that night. So I think it's going to work out perfect. I'm going to walk into an alpaca farm, and they have a hostel and bed and breakfast there. They give you some of their farm fresh eggs for you to cook for breakfast the next morning if you want. A lot of their stuff from their farm is available. So I'm going to walk in there in a couple days, and it's supposed to get down to like below 20 the night I walk in there. So you better believe I'll be sleeping at the alpaca farm in the bunkhouse, and then hopefully, with it being March, chances are it's not gonna stick around very long. So anyway, I'm gonna put the camera down, get the umbrella out, and some man sent me back my good rain jacket. The other one was really thin, and I figured since it's going to get cold, I probably ought to get it back out here. So he sent me my Gore-Tex rain jacket and my sleeping bag liner, my alpaca sleeping bag liner. It's funny, I'm staying at an alpaca farm here in a few days, and I got an alpaca liner. So I'm going to quit rambling and start talking. It's March the 10th. And got a little bit later start this morning, probably 7:30. Met No Rush, Santa Claus. Last night he come walking in the shelter after dark. I was told by Rerun and Irish that I'd run into him, and he is a great dude. He's the last official southbound hiker that started last year. He says it may take him a year before it's all said and done. But man, just retired out of the military in his 60s and out here plugging along. Just a great guy. Had a great conversation with him. So made last night a little more interesting and fun, instead of just being there by myself. So anyway, I'll post some pictures of, you'll know who he is. He looks like Santa Claus, but he is No Rush is his trail name. Good rainy morning, March the 10th. Yeah, I slept at, I believe it was Lost Mountain Shelter last night. Gonna do about 17 or 18 today. And I had the pleasure of staying with No Rush last night. You'll see a picture of him. He looks like Santa Claus. He's the official last northbounder or southbounder that started last year. That's how he gets his name. He's No Rush. He just retired. He said it'll take him 10 months or a year before he gets done. But what an amazing person, and the story. And thank you for your service, brother. So got to stay with him, and Man, we just had a blast last night talking, and then this morning said our goodbyes, got a couple pictures together. So since we're talking about shelters, I've had a couple friends ask me, say, well, I thought you were hiking the Appalachian Trail. Why are you staying in shelters and hostels? Well, my friends, the Appalachian Trail is shelters and hostels. That's now you can tent camp, and I will do some tent camping, but I'm way ahead of the bubble. So when I walk up on a shelter, it's either do I set my tent up or do I sleep in this shelter, usually by myself or one or two other people at the most. I just think it's easier. So I'm out here to hike the Appalachian Trail, not tent camp the Appalachian Trail. They've been putting shelters on the Appalachian Trail for the last 100 years. And actually I stopped and took a break at the oldest standing structure shelter on the Appalachian Trail a few days ago. It was built in 1934. So part of the history and what intrigued me about the Appalachian Trail was the trail towns you walk through, the hostels where you can rent a bunk or whatever, and the shelters. So believe me, I've done my share of camping. I have an Eagle Scout, and we camped probably 120 plus nights under the stars as he was going through his Boy Scout career in his pursuit of Eagle Scout, which he did get. Very proud of him. So anyway, I hope that answers your question. The history is what I'm out here for, and to hike the Appalachian Trail. Doesn't matter whether I camp 20 nights out here or no nights. The shelters are part of the history. And believe me, I don't sleep real well out here anyway. So when I get a chance to get off trail just for the night and sleep in a warm bed, comfortable bed, and catch up on my sleep, I'm all for it. So, you know, some people come out here and they sleep in tents every single night, pretty much like my friend Subman does. But there's nothing wrong with shelter jumping and hostel jumping, because I'm out here to hike 2,194 miles. So it's kind of irrelevant how many nights I sleep in a tent. So just wanted to kind of clear that up for a few of you that had questions on why I'm not sleeping in a tent every single night. So there you go. Have a good day, my friends. 0.1 miles to Buzzard Rock. I think that's probably it up there maybe, but I'm not going to have a very good view if there's a view up there. I'm hoping when I get to Grayson Highlands, I want to see some ponies. So we'll see. 0.1 to the top. I've been climbing for 5 miles. What a way to start the day, but I feel good. And this is where you just hope your feet stick. Here we go, we're gonna try it. Oh, I don't know if I can do this with, actually I see an alternative here. Good thing, because I don't think I could have got up there, but now it's where I have no choice. Will your feet stick on wet rock? And they did. So it's all good. I'm in a pretty rocky section here. So after all that I talked about managing your sweat and being careful not to start shivering and everything, I got to the top back there and had to stop and get water. Took my backpack off and realized, and the wind was blowing, it was actually sleeting, and I got cold and I started shivering. But I just took my pack cover off and got in my bag and got my next layer, my Cooey, stuck it on, finished getting my water, started walking and warmed right up. So There wasn't any danger, but it just goes to show you how quick out here, when you think you're warm, you can get yourself in trouble pretty quick. So anyway, I got the base layer on over my short sleeve base layer. Actually, it's my fleece. It's a real lightweight fleece made by Cooey. It's as good as any other fleece I've ever had and half the weight. So I'm warm. Now I'm doing some crazy rock scrambling. Oh, look, there's ice. So you could tell it was colder up here than what it was. Still a little bit of ice there. So rain's supposed to stop about noon today. I have no clue what time it is, but I'm ready for noon to get here so I can shed this raincoat. Seems like it's let up quite a bit now. Just a light drizzle. But I was in some sleep back there. I didn't realize it was that cold, but it was.
Your story is going to be over one day. The last chapter of your life is going to be written and the book will be shut. Think about how that story looks right now. The things you've done, the things you've accomplished, the things you didn't do, the people you met, the people you spent your time with, the things you spent your time on, how much you gave, how much you took. If your story ended tomorrow, how would you feel about it? Are you proud of your story? Could you have given more? Were you the best friend? Were you the best son, the best daughter? Don't assume that there's going to be that future day where you can rewrite history, where you can change the direction of the story. So make sure that right now, in the present, you are writing the best story you possibly can. You are being the best version of yourself you possibly can, the best friend, the best son,